mic check, and all that good stuff. Like that. What's good, guys? Boy, good to back again. Road to WrestleMania. It is, what day is it? The 7th of April. We are 12 days away from Mania. I think we're about 12 days from Mania. I'd like to say it's heating up. It's definitely getting a lot more interesting. It's getting a bit more intriguing. Um, I don't know how excited I am for it, but we'll find out. We'll find out as it goes on, and that. I hope WWE can do their normal tricks and pull it out the bag last minute. But I have to say, up until now, it's a bit hit or miss for me. Obviously, I'm gonna watch WrestleMania and do the watch along and the previews and all that stuff around it, but it's a different feeling to this year's WrestleMania, and you never know, man. They might be able to cram it in within 2 weeks and give us all the bells and whistles. But up until now, I think we're looking at two Raws and two SmackDowns? I don't know if I'm correct about that, but I'm guessing so. 2 Raws, 2 SmackDowns, and yeah. So, is it enough? I don't know. Big up Morris. We all love basketball. I don't know if it's enough. We'll find out. But what I've decided to do is I thought I'd just cover the particular matches going into WrestleMania. So this live stream won't be too long, but you'll get another one tomorrow as well, based on a different match, just so we can do a little bit of a deep dive into the particular matches. I can hear your point of view on it as well. And then obviously, if I miss anything, then I can do it on a separate video. There's a pre-record, because things chop and change all the time, just based on Raw being tomorrow, later on tonight. Things could change on there as well. But I think WrestleMania itself is not to take shape in a certain way. So I'm going to do like a half an hour deep dive into it. Probably going to try and keep the show flowing. So any comments I'll try and get to at the end if I can. But while I'm talking, I'm going to try not to just, because I don't want to be here for too long, as I said. And I want to be able to do this every single day. And I won't be able to do that if I drag it out, because I've got other work to do as well. And I can't lie, WWE is not keeping it intriguing enough for me to want to sit down for 2 hours plus talking about it. It's not been intriguing enough for me to cover too many reactions. It's crazy, man. It's crazy, but I do agree that it's subjective. It's opinions. There's no right or wrong answers. So if you do like it, I'm happy for you guys. In fact, I would hope that somebody else likes what's going on, just so they're not wasting their time. Because for me, yeah, if I was paying for this year's WrestleMania, this WrestleMania was in the UK, or I had a ticket to go watch it in Vegas, and I paid for this. Up until now with the build, I'll be pretty disappointed for what I've seen so far and what I know is about to come in terms of matches. So, Baz again, WrestleMania. We know WWE, they've done this many times before, and then in the last moment, and hopefully after this year they don't do that again, because there's been more than enough time to have solid builds to these particular matches. Been more than enough time to build stories. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we had to cover this match, so we'll talk about CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman in the corner of. Now, you know what? Let me just cover a bit of news first, because I don't want to stay in it too long. Let's talk. I was going to talk about Rey Fénix's debut, but I don't think it's necessary. The debut was pretty. There's nothing spectacular. I feel like they're forcing debuts of wrestlers now. Like they're bringing wrestlers over, and instead of giving them video packages and building a story, they kind of just leave it. And then, as you saw, Rey Fénix, great wrestler, one of my favorite luchas of all time. But they put him in the match with Nathan Frazier from Fraxium. And obviously we saw the previous 2 weeks before that we had Gunther versus Axiom. It doesn't really make much sense to me. Now, previously, WWE would probably have put these guys against, I don't know, like a local talent, and then they'd probably squash the local talent and stuff like that. Instantly, what WWE seems to be doing is bringing these guys in and booking them 50-50 with, as much as I think Nathan Frazier is super talented, but just from perception, he's from the minor leagues, he's from NXT, which is seen as WWE's developmental project. So it's the equivalent to an academy prospect or academy team full of prospects playing against a Premier League team. and not any Premier League team, like one of the most exciting Premier League teams. And it doesn't make much sense to me, and it doesn't make Nathan Fraser look strong. It doesn't make Ray Phoenix look strong. It definitely doesn't make Nathan Fraser look strong unless they've done something after that. But we know they won't because he's currently still on the NXT. So it just gave the fans in attendance the spectacle of what Ray Phoenix is and how good he is, and hopefully they enjoyed themselves. He's great, but it didn't do much else. Then they cut the in-ring promo, which I guess this is just a new thing. My assumption is that with the inclusion of WWE under the TKO banner, and it's obviously WWE and UFC, they seem to add in a lot of things that you normally would see in the combat realm, in combat sports as MMA, into the WWE. They're trying to merge them slightly. So these in-ring interviews is what you get in the octagon when you finish a fight, which we never used to get in WWE. You have the odd one every now and again, but this one here, I don't know. They did it with Penta as well. Um, and obviously, their first language isn't English, which in a part, because you can understand them, but he's very emotional and overwhelmed with the fact that he's finally made it to the WWE and it's a dream of his, and I'm happy for him. But I still think there's a thing where we have to remember it's professional wrestling, it's sports entertainment. It's not all about, serving the person, it's serving the character and serving the fans. So, yes, as a character, maybe that's part of his story that he's always wanted to make it. Shawn Michaels had that story back in the day. The boyhood dream was to win the title in WWE and stuff like that. But I don't think they're going to go down that route. Um, I want to be optimistic about Ray Phoenix going forward, but judging off previous experience and what we've witnessed in WWE, it's a shame, and I hope I'm wrong. But I could easily see in 6 months, maybe less time than 6 months, he's just they'll either throw him with his brother, or throw him with the LWO, or throw him with Santos Escobar, or throw him with Andrade. And you know what I'm trying to say here, because a lot of these people had something in common. It's very strange that WWE will seem to do this, and then they peter out, and you become not special anymore. Now, if you're not going to put him with his brother, then you can't put him on the same roster, which means Penta stays on Raw, Ray stays on SmackDown. I'm fine with that. But then you have to look at where the other people are. Where is Santos and where is Ray? You get what I'm saying with it. So it'd be intriguing. We'll see what happens going forward. Maybe Dominic will try and recruit him for Judgment Day or something like he tried with Penta. Hopefully we see some kind of like story between them two in the future. Maybe instead of tagging them together, the brothers, maybe you put them in a storyline against one another, but you build it within the WWE. Don't try and build it off screen, because everyone knows leading from AEW, they were the Lucha Brothers. They were fine with each other. So maybe the story can be you left behind Penta while you came to Raw, but I don't think the timeline's long enough, so it's a little bit of a weird one. Bit of Ravi. In other news, um, this is a bit of a weird one because for me, like they've killed kayfabe to the point of no return, but then there's the odd wrestler who seems to keep it, toeing the line. But I feel like for this particular thing, I did think about it at first, but then when I saw the backlash online and saw the interviews online, I was like, okay, maybe. So Kevin Owens came on SmackDown. He announced that for 4 months he's been dealing with like a neck pain, a neck injury, and the doctors, well, throughout that time he didn't know what it was, and now they do, and he has to have surgery on his neck, which is the same thing, not the same exact injury, but the same thing that Edge went through, Paige went through, Daniel Bryan went through as well. Luckily, all three of those returned to the ring, but they actually returned way later than they thought they would. So all of them got told they couldn't wrestle again. All of them when they got second and third and fourth opinions, and then made their way to AEW. Seemingly, I mean, Edge did return in WWE first, but I think he said himself that they wouldn't let him do certain things while he was in the WWE because they were so worried about his neck. And I think Daniel Bryan mentioned the same thing as well. So I guess it puts a bit of a hindrance and a restriction on the character that you want to be. But I guess from the company standpoint, one, they probably care about you, but I think the bigger thing is for them, it's a business, and somebody with a neck liability like that in pro wrestling, when you can be thrown through tables and ring posts and all these things, it's probably not a good thing to have on your business fold when you got all these board of directors and stuff like that as well. Not to mention um, the insurance and all these things. So Yeah, it's a shame, but he's gonna have to go away for a bit. I was thinking the whole time because Kevin Owens is so good at this and he's so good at merging reality. We've seen that since he attacked Cody that he was doing all these promos and his cars and stuff like that. That I was like, I wonder if this is not, I wonder if this is like the biggest swerve because it would be a big swerve considering he came out and announced it. No, when Mark Henry announced that he was retiring, obviously he switched at the same moment, but and obviously retirement's not as serious as a neck injury. But I don't think I'll take it personal if you know what I mean. I wouldn't have a problem with it if that's what Kevin did, just because it keeps wrestling interesting, it keeps you on your toes. But I believe that that's what he's gone through. I seen him arguing on not arguing, but he was pretty pissed off online due to somebody leaking the information before he got to come out and address it. Because I saw it 2 days before, I think. Normally, what happens, I get an email first, and then obviously then hits the online forums and the Twitter and all these different things. So I heard it before, but I just heard Kevin Owens was injured, so and out of Mania. So yeah, big deal that he was out of Mania, but I didn't think it was something as serious as this. I just thought it was something that wouldn't heal by the time he got to WrestleMania to fight Randy Orton. But as you heard from KO, he's gonna go away and have surgery. The main talking point between this, and I'm guessing he didn't tell WWE or Triple H about this, but he said that he's been working through it for 4 months, and I wonder how bad it was. He said he didn't know what it was. So if he wasn't in pain a lot, then it's easier on the company because they wouldn't have known. But 4 months, considering I said straight away to my son that the two matches that come to mind is the match against Cody and the match against Sammy. And the one against Cody at Saturday Night Main Event, he finished that match with his head in the ladder. I remember we did the live stream to it, like his head was folded in the ladder, upside down. All of the he's a big guy in it, all the weight of Kevin compressing his vertebrae from that position. And then obviously we know with Sami Zayn, that match was brutal. It was a match that like we were kind of fed up. Oh, Sami Zayn and Kevin's doing this again. And then when we got to the match, you saw like, yeah, they're gonna, yeah, I mean, they're gonna go for it. We haven't seen Sammy's still injured, and seemingly, I don't think Kevin got injured then because he was already, but it's probably made it worse at some points. So hopefully, we get a. I don't want to say speedy return. Hopefully, we get a return from Kevin Owens in the future. But more importantly than that, hopefully his surgery goes well and then he can just function in life properly. He's got kids. That's more important than returning to the ring. So very interesting. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Bit of a mad one. Bit of a mad one. We'll get to the comments what they're now, and then we'll just go into the last topic, and we'll probably be out of here in 15 minutes. I'll try and make it the same time every day. Unless I'm busy on that day, then I'll push it like half an hour or 45 minutes the other way. So um, big up to Ravi. WWE can build a sandcastle with how they build majority pay per views. Yeah, it's not a shame. Um, Randy Orton and KO storylines way better, but it seems tame. It's because it's all forced. It's bit more not forced. It's rushed, and it. That's what I would say now. As much as they like to preach long term storytelling, I feel like a lot of them they just pick up on Easter eggs from things from the past and they connect it together. I don't think it's actually long term story. Like if anyone's done creative writing, like long term storytelling is with intent and purposely creating a story to go the distance with all of these peaks and troughs and U-turns in there. So you point so for example, I give it all the time, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe that started with Iron Man in 2008 to what 10 years later and all of it like leading up to Endgame. That's long term storytelling because even if they didn't know they were going to call it Endgame by that point, they had the character already in the background of Thanos. They had Iron Man at the beginning and Nick Fury talking about building a team of superheroes. You had Avengers movies in between with big bads being dropped in there in Ultron. Um, Even like stuff like the Winter Soldier and stuff like that. You had Loki. So even when those things tried to veer them off track, they always ended up. The end goal was always going to be get to Infinity War and Endgame, where the big guy Thanos is going to come and do what he needs to do. That's long term storytelling. The way WWE would do it is how people do it with like made a movie in 1994, and that was the one movie, and then in 2025 go, "Ooh, should we make another movie?" Like, well, what's the point? There's no point making another movie. There's just, and then you go back to the previous movie. You find few little things in there, put it in the trailer, and you let people know. And then that's how WWE seem to do it, which means you miss out on all the cohesion going in between and stuff like that. So it was a bit strange. Yeah, Morris, definitely an unlucky situation. Dante said, "I'm loving Naomi, Jade, and Bianca. I hope to God Triple H knows what he's doing with his storyline. This should be the moment where Naomi is in the spotlight she deserves." So I agree with that. I'm not going to talk about that particular thing today because I'm going to do they'll probably get tomorrow's video. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Although I would say at the moment I enjoyed the beef between her and Bianca and no Jade and Naomi. Bianca's kind of been left to her own devices now. They've kind of pushed her out of the way because she has her own title match to deal with, which I guess makes a lot of sense because I feel like Bianca being the third person in there probably would have overshadowed what's going on because it's technically not about Bianca as such. It's more about the fact that Jade come in and Naomi has been pushed aside and everything that Naomi wanted and fought for, and Jade's been handed straight away. Um, and it's a great story to tell simply because of Naomi leaving the company and going to TNA and being the champion and coming back and still not winning the Rumble and still not winning certain things. So definitely a great story, but look out for that one tomorrow, around about the same time probably. But let's go on to this, man. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns now on Friday Night SmackDown. We had another gathering of these three gentlemen. They promoted it. I wasn't interested because simply they finished the previous SmackDown, or was it Raw, one of them, with the contract signing, with Punk saying to Paul Heyman, that's not the only favor, like that's not the favor I was talking about. And they thought they did something there. They thought they left it on this big cliffhanger, and oh my god, all these fans for a whole week. We can't wait to hear what the favor is, bro. We spoke about it the week before. What the favor is what I thought the favor would be the whole time, because it wouldn't have made sense for it to be a title match. And don't get me wrong, it, it wouldn't surprise me if they add something to whatever this favor is leading into it because it's a bit lackluster. But maybe they're going down the route of simplicity and just putting on a great show. And the one thing with those three men in the ring is they can definitely put on a great show. They can definitely build something. But storyline wise, it's a bit meaty. Um, so yeah, they had CM Punk come out on SmackDown, address the Chicago fans. I thought that was weird at the beginning of the show, but okay. Um, had a promo with Paul Heyman in the ring. It was a decent promo, and then Paul asked, "Can I ask you a question? What is the favor that I owe you?" And then he said, "Listen, when Roman Reigns turns up, I'll say it to his face and yours together." And then we proceed to see that Seth Rollins comes out. Well, Roman comes out. I love the way Roman came out. By the way, he came out the black SUV, walked straight to the ring. His theme music hit, but he didn't stay around. He didn't pander to the crowd. He wasn't, you know what I mean? He got straight in the ring. Seth Rollins come out, interrupt him, and followed by CM Punk coming out and interrupting that too. And then we get Paul the favor, and it's to make Roman Reigns feel uncomfortable and to put him out of his comfort zone at WrestleMania. The wise man's going to be in my corner, not yours. Great stuff. My best friend's going to be in my corner. All right, let's just forget that the best friend, when he was with Curtis Axel, beat the hell out of you with a kendo stick. Let's just forget about that. But yeah, your best friend's going to do this, and let's not forget that you've been in the company a while again now. Like you returned at that Survivor Series War Games, and you've not asked for Paul Heyman's help since then. Paul Heyman asked for your help. I remember that when Roman was away and he got put through the table by Solo. But don't remember you asking for Paul's help back then, which would have made more sense because but Roman wasn't there. And Roman returning to get the Ula Fala with Paul Heyman already on the side of CM Punk would have made way more sense because he would need to get his title back, his Ula Fala back, and his wise man. Okay, so we proceed to go through that. Roman cuts a nice promo, laughs his head off. He said, "Yo, even if I let Paul, like he'd say no, wise man let him down." And then Paul started crying. He was looking all flustered and disheveled. And he said, "No, my tribal chief, I cannot do that. He's my best friend. I promised him now." As again, long-term storybooking, no. But they found Easter eggs of Paul saying to CM Punk in the ring, I promise you, I'm gonna main event. You know, what I mean, I'm gonna be in your corner at WrestleMania. He definitely said all of that, and the emotion was there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they watched that before they went and cut this promo, which would make sense. Now, the reason why I put the CM Punk's favors suck is because I am not the majority of fans, and some of you guys who probably thought it was the same favor are not the majority of fans. So there must have been an anticlimactic or underwhelming aspect to the fact that you waited all this time for a favor. A favor. It felt like it was gonna break the internet. It felt like it was gonna bring WrestleMania to new heights. And the favor is just to make Roman Reigns uncomfortable. And the question would be, even though even though CM Punk is main event in WrestleMania and is getting his dream, even though we know his dream was to main event for a title at WrestleMania, let's be honest, he's not just trying to main event WrestleMania. Well, if that is the case, what does it matter? There's nothing on the line. Like pride is on the line is about it. There's more on the line for Seth wanting to get Punk out of this company, get rid of Punk than there is for between Punk and Roman. Um, so I don't really get it. I don't think they've explained it properly, even though they waffled a lot and they've had these 30-minute promos and stuff like that. But it's getting back to like CM Punk and Drew for the beads. It's starting to feel like that because okay, I can visualize it already. So let me paint the picture that will they do a good job with this? I'm sure they'll do a good job with it. I'm sure on the day of SmackDown, the day of WrestleMania, they'll do a good job with it. But storyline wise, no, they'll probably do something just before, more fighting. They've already had the pull apart brawl, the traditional pull apart brawl. I think there's way more dealings between Seth and Punk and a story between Seth and Punk that makes way more sense than Seth Punk and Roman. But then the question is going to be, hasn't CM Punk already beat Seth? Didn't he beat him at the Raw Netflix? So it's like, what's the point? There's no title on the line as well. There's no career on the line. There's no if I beat you, you have to leave this company. Or if I beat you, you have to leave Raw. If I beat you, you can never challenge for the WWE title for 12 months. There's none of that business. The question remains is why does Paul Heyman being in his corner mean so much when you're not trying to get anything from Roman but the free count? And now it's a triple threat match. You don't even have to pin Roman Reigns to win this match. So basically, like I said, paint the picture. Roman's gonna enter the ring. He's gonna do what he was doing when Paul was away anyway, which is when he walks down, he's gonna look to the side and realize the wise man's not there. When he walks up the stairs, he's gonna look to the side, look sad, and realize the wise man's not there. When he goes to put his finger in the air, he's gonna realize the wise man's not there. We understand all of that, but at the same time, like, what's the point? Now we're gonna get into predictions later on down the line, maybe in a week and a half or so. For the match itself, even though it's early days, sort of, I think the fact that WWE they're clearly trying to put Seth to the side in this match. They're clearly trying to get the fans to not acknowledge that Seth's even doing anything, which tells me Seth Rollins is probably going to win this WrestleMania match. And do I think it's the right thing? Listen, I can't even lie. There's no title on the line. It would make sense for Seth to win simply because his WrestleMania record over the last however many WrestleManias hasn't been the best. And all of his WrestleMania matches, since apart from the one like WrestleMania 35 when he won the title, or WrestleMania 31, they've all been a bit like Cesaro and Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes and kind of a bit. And remember, the Cody one was he didn't have the Cody one was literally I don't have anything to do, so Vince give me somebody to fight. Cesaro one I don't even know makes sense like Logan. So I think he will probably get the victory. I know that the general consensus is maybe Seth gets the victory and walks away with Paul Heyman. Why? Why though? Doesn't mean you're wrong. I'm saying why because this is more about making sense of these things. Why would Paul Heyman and Seth make sense? It doesn't make much sense to me unless Paul believes in Seth more than he believes in Roman, which is silly. Um, I just don't get it. It's very underwhelming. I think CM Punk as well. Like he's getting older now, and he's not old, but he's getting older. And I say this because he's somebody who deals with a lot of injuries. We've had he torn his tricep in AEW, then he tore his flipping meniscus or something, trying to celebrate and crowd surf. Then he tore his other tricep. So for me, I ain't really trying to see Paul and Seth. I ain't trying to see CM Punk. The only thing I can picture is CM Punk and Paul leaving together and then going after John Cena's title once John Cena's won it. I do think Punk going after John Cena if he beats Cody makes sense, simply because it's a callback to the summer of Punk of 2011, I think. And then you have them two at SummerSlam, or just like Night of Champions as well, with the Money in the Bank and all that stuff. And John Cena's promo was talking about when I win the title, I'm leaving with your title, is what CM Punk did as well. So I think they could make a link between that. But this as a whole is it's a bit strange. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not underwhelmed, and I'm not going to be acting all gassed over Paul Heyman being in CM Punk's corner. All Paul Heyman does for Roman is he jeers him on as time goes on. Sometimes, Roman will try and beat somebody, and then it was like, yo, wise man, how come I can't beat? It's very rare. WrestleMania is when I saw him speak to the wise man more than any, and maybe Royal Rumble when he fought Kevin Owens as well. But he doesn't physically do anything anymore. Paul back in the day used to, as I said, he beat up CM Punk with a kendo stick, and he would jump up on the side of the apron and do old school manager things to what they do on the game. He doesn't do that anymore. So, and he's seemingly CM Punk's best friend. He's Roman Reigns' wise man. He's Brock Lesnar's advocate. The only intrigue I have between this match is because it's a triple threat match means there's no disqualifications. No disqualifications in this match is a must, and it offers different scenarios that could play out on screen. One of those scenarios is obviously Paul Heyman getting involved in the actual match, maybe a low blow or something like that. It could be going on the story of, which I don't want it to happen, but oh my god, like Paul, you know what I mean? You find CM Punk's more important to you than I am to you in all this business. We know that Roman Reigns, his whole character is, apart from the positive side of how strong and that he is, he's very paranoid. He's very, I don't know, he's got abandonment issues also. Like everyone that he's got in contact with, he's been left behind, hasn't he? So and whether it's his fault or not, he's been left behind. Seth turned on him. Jay turned on him, and Jimmy turned on him, and Sammy turned on him, and Solo. So up until, and then Ambrose left. So up until now, apart from Roman having his family around him, it's been a lot of nobody. Like he's got no friends in it, and I feel like he's so good he could play into that. He played into the paranoia before, so I definitely think he could do. I definitely think he could do something there. But for me, with CM Punk and stuff like that, I don't want to go too much into what can happen after Mania. I just want to say that the actual match itself doesn't make much sense to me. And as I said, they're definitely starting to go down the route of Seth not orchestrating what's going on in the ring, but he's took a step back and he's making them more angry with each other because Roman stopped him from ending Punk. Although when he says Roman stopped him, all he was going to do was curb stomp him and pin him, or curb stomp him and leave the cage. Let's not pretend he's going to hit him with a sledgehammer. He was closer to ending Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble than you have been to ending CM Punk. So we'll wait and see. And hopefully it gets more interesting. I think, if I'm correct, Seth and Punk are supposed to be on Monday Night Raw. So in tomorrow's episode, because we've done this already, when I talk about the ladies, we can cover a little bit of it in there as well. And what I'm going to do is going to get to the comment section before I get out of here. Big up, Zen. I see you in the chat, bro. Ravi said, what I want to know is how long can they keep having all the women lose to Charlotte? It's so boring. Have Charlotte just winning the main event. She actually lost the last match, bro. She lost to Rhea, innit? If I'm correct. You know how Rhea won the title. I'm more intrigued to what happens with all three men after Mania at this point because Roman can't go away for months just because of this feud, unless he's taken out by either Punk. He's definitely gonna go away after WrestleMania. That's Roman's MO, but I don't know. I don't want to comment on it too much because I'd never know the reason why he does it. I don't know if it's health or anything like that. I don't know if he's got a certain contract because of his health previously, where he has to have a certain amount of time off. But yeah, I don't think Roman or Punk's gonna win, to be honest. So Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you get Roman return in time for SummerSlam. So the gap between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, yeah, one of those. The only problem is it doesn't do much stuff building a story unless CM Punk wins and leaves with Paul Heyman. Then Roman goes away because then when he returns, there's a story ready-made build for him there. But we'll see what happens. Um, we've already had to defeat Roman, go away from Morrison. Yeah, I know. Paul used to do that a lot when he was a manager in the Big Show. He used to put the life up. Yeah, he did, man. Big up Zen. Where we go. Me and my brother-in-law are going to do a watch party for WrestleMania 41, but only on night one. I'll be here in the chat for whichever night I don't. Okay, big up, bro. Paul sent me turned on him back in 2001 2022 period with Brock. It seemed like Paul was aligning himself with beating Roman. He didn't really turn on him though, did he? Like they kind of kept it. It felt like what they did was because Brock wasn't there when Roman returned. They kind of had it as if like Paul's never really left Brock being Brock's advocate, but Brock don't need him anymore. And obviously he did that thing when he threw the belt in between them and stuff like that. He was quite torn. But I think it's going to come down to the fact of one's his friend and one's his business partner, which Roman seems to think it's his wise man and they're cool, but I don't know. No, I really don't know. I really don't know. It's going to be interesting though. That's one thing I can say. Whether it's good or bad, it definitely will give us some intrigue there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. Like I said, you can expect it around these times. I'll probably do some deep dives pre-recorded as well, just so I can write some notes and remember everything. Because sometimes I'm going off the cuff now, and I probably forgot some stuff that I wanted to talk about in terms of this actual feud. But I'll obviously be back tomorrow and the day after, and then I will be running all week this week, and so up until Friday. So yeah, look out for those videos. Try to be around this time, but if it's not, I'll put it in the community post and have it earlier or a little bit later. But yeah, probably the best thing for me to do. And then obviously Raw tomorrow. If anything good happens, then look out for my reaction on TikTok because I ain't putting on YouTube because I ain't about to get copyrighted, bro. So yeah, we'll run it like that. But big up to all of you guys, and I'm trying to think. Nah, I think that time's about it, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see after Monday Night Raw, man. Peace.